Marriage can often feel hard. Throw kids into the mix and it can feel even harder. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about simple things that you can do to help balance being both a good mom and a good wife. Hi, I'm Leah from Roommates to Soulmates, where my husband and I love sharing tips and insights as Christian marriage coaches on how to cultivate healthy and thriving marriages. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about how to balance both being a good mom and a good wife. Because if you have been married with kids for any amount of time, you have probably felt the struggle of everybody needing and wanting you, and you only have so much time and energy, and you just don't know how to give it all, and you want to give it all, but you're just overwhelmed. So, if you haven't been through this, maybe you're going through this currently, and I'd love to share with you how you can balance it all so you can be a good mom and a good wife. So, in order to do this, we need to talk about three different things, and that is priorities, energy, and attitude. So go ahead, grab a cup of your favorite beverage, get cozy, and let's dive in. So, diving into our first topic, let's talk a little bit about priorities. Priorities are really important in marriage and life in general because it helps us to understand where we should be focusing our energy and time, like just what's most important. And so, of course, it's really hard when you think about this because it's like, oh, my husband or my kids. Like, you don't want to do like an either or, but who did you commit your life to? You committed your life to your husband. And yes, your kids absolutely need you. And it's really important that you never like neglect your kids or anything, but you need to remember that your spouse needs to be your number one priority. I know it's hard. But let's think about it. If your husband came up to you and said, I love you, but I love my kids more than you, you would be like, what? And so we need to be careful how we prioritize our day, how we prioritize our energy, because of course you can't neglect your kids. You can't like leave them and like just fend for yourself. Like I'm just going to be with your husband, my husband. But we need to be careful with how we spend our time throughout the day, because if we spend it all just like doing all the things for the kids, taking them to all the places, just like investing all of ourselves in the kids, and when your husband comes home, or say like you come home from work, like whatever the case may be, and you have nothing left for your husband, that is showing him that he is not your number one priority, that everything else is, and he just kind of gets the leftovers. So it's really important to prioritize your spouse. And here's the thing, when you prioritize your spouse and you focus on your marriage, it's actually the best thing for your kids because they are getting to witness what a healthy marriage looks like. And that is really going to set them up for the rest of their life. So, number one, make sure to prioritize your spouse before the kids. Okay. Jumping in to point number two, energy. This goes along with what we were just talking about with priorities. When it comes to your energy, you only have so much energy in the day. So you need to use it sparingly, and you also need to use it effectively. So when you think about your day, you need to think about what gives the most in the least amount of effort, I guess. So like what's most effective? There we go. So as a stay-at-home mom, I realized that I don't need to take my kids out to the park, to the library, to the splash pad, like all the things like every single day. And of course, you get like overwhelmed with mom guilt, like, oh, I should be doing all these things. But in reality, like, no, you can actually just have a really good day at home, and then make those events and outings a special kind of thing. And that way, when your spouse gets home, you can have more energy for them instead of putting your energy out everywhere. And then let's also talk a little bit about how to use your energy most effectively for your spouse. So you need to learn. I don't really want to say what their love language is, but we'll just use that for the moment. I can have a whole nother video on how men and women don't really receive love languages the same way. But anyways, that's another story for another time. And so in this situation, we need to talk about what speaks the most to your spouse. So, say you spend the whole day cleaning the house and making it absolutely spotless, spend a whole bunch of time making just amazing dinner for your spouse, and they come home and they act like they don't really appreciate anything. And you're like, I spent all this time and energy doing all this for you. And you're like, don't even notice. Well, maybe he doesn't really care about the house being spotless. And maybe he's good with honestly just a hamburger at the end of the day. So, like, figure out what speaks to your spouse so you can devote energy in those ways as opposed to just doing all the things and then kind of getting disappointed and like empty because those things weren't really fruitful in your relationship. So just be careful with your energy, use it effectively, learn what speaks the most to your spouse, and also how to make the most with your energy to your kids so that you have enough energy for everybody. And point number 3, we are going to talk about attitude. As a wife, as a mother, your attitude sets the tone for the entire home. If you have a good attitude, you'll probably notice that your kids are in a better mood, that your husband is like feeling more up. And then when you have a down in the mouth attitude, if you're complaining all the time, if you're just frustrated and mad, you will notice that the entire mood of your house is just kind of like, like walking on eggshells. So, really, your attitude affects everybody. And as wives, it's really important, as wives and mothers, it's really important that we work on keeping our attitudes and our emotions in check as much as we can, just because it really does, it affects everybody. And when you have a positive, uplifting attitude, it really makes the most and brings the best out of your kids and spouse. Well, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please do me a favor, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. I do have a free gift for you guys. I understand that being a parent can be hard, it can be stressful, and sometimes you just really need to have some fun. And you can do this simply by having a date night with your spouse. Now, I also understand as a parent that it can be hard to find a sitter that you trust. So a lot of the times we just put date night off and then no date night happens. And I don't want you guys to end up making this mistake because date nights are so great because they help really just connect with your spouse and, like I said, have fun. So what I did for you guys is I created a list of over 20 at-home date night ideas that you can have with your spouse, no sitter required. These date night ideas are really fun. You can do them with any budget. Most of them are like extremely cheap. So when I say any budget, like it's next to nothing. So I hope that you guys enjoy it. In order to get this free download, all you have to do is click the link in the description below. It's going to take you over to our blog where you'll see a big button underneath the video. So just click that button and you'll be able to download this free list of over 20 at-home date night ideas for married couples with young families. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.